everybody, so stick around. And the winner of this is worth noting is playing Elpis in the upper semi-final of the winner's bracket, if you will.
I don't see a timer for Krissy, by the way. I don't know if... Do you?
I do not, but it's okay. I'm sure it'll be adjusted, last-minute adjustments.
Yeah, okay, so it's fine. Yeah. Okay, so starting off in the Metalman stage here, this is actually probably the hardest stage in the speedrun of Mega Man 2. Depending on what approach you take, the Crusher section here, there's, you know, quite a difference. You can end up with very low health at the end of the stage, which can cause major problems. Both players taking it a bit safe, but both got through just fine. That was very good sections for both of them. Also good luck with the mole patterns.
Yeah, I think Metal, we've seen some people fall behind in the Metal stage right away just because of that mole section. So the fact that both are through without dying or taking critical health is a good start.
You can also see there, if you spotted it, the ladders in this game are horrible. You have to press straight up or straight down to climb them. You can't press diagonal like any other Mega Man game. You saw Tremane actually get stuck on the ladder when he jumped over that last Met there. But there was just a minor time loss, but it's a game mechanic that's worth noting.
Yeah, for sure. So do you want to talk about, I'm guessing we're going to see the fast setup here for Tremane?
Yeah, we'll see what, they both have plenty of health, so Tremane is doing the strat he does best, the regular one, where he actually takes a body hit from Metal Man, taking 4 damage. And Krissy is doing roughly the same. So they both managed to get Metal Man in a glitched state, because Metal Man's sprite is too big and the room is too small. So if you manipulate him in a certain way, he gets stuck inside a wall, so you just have to buster him down. They both did it good. The version they did, they took a body hit that does 4 damage. It's possible to do it taking a hit from the Metal Blade, which only does 1 damage, so you can get into the room with less health. But they didn't need to go for that in that scenario. So
we're about 5 seconds apart. If so, Woodman stage is the second stage players will be going through, and immediately we introduce the Metal Blade. Much like the NES version, it's extremely powerful. Lots of ammo, you can shoot it in all directions, and most things die in 2 or 3 hits. So players will abuse that throughout the run. And
yeah,
especially in Woodman.
The Metal Man blades in this game is even better than the NES. It's even more overpowered here than in the NES version, I would say. It kills everything in just a few hits. Tremane is taking the upper section here, which is roughly 3 seconds faster if done correctly, and he had a very good upper section, so we'll see what Krissy does. Krissy also taking the upper section, but yeah. I think he took 2 hits from the dog, right?
That's correct. That's what I was going to say. This is an extremely risky strat. In fact, I probably would have went with the rush just strat, and there you have it.
Yes.
Commentator's curse. Sort of.
Well, it's not really a commentator's curse. We can't be blamed for that one, because if you take 2 hits from the dog, you can damage boost from the dog above, and since he didn't make it, that was basically probably a bad decision going up, as we could see there.
So we always see about half a wood stage lead for Tremane here, and we didn't get to talk about the boss because it happened so fast, but basically you can shoot Metal Blades in between the leads while they turn around Woodman in precise manner to actually hit him before he even shoots his shield.
Tremane had a very good Woodman fight there. It wasn't perfect, but he used a variation of my strat, and he managed to, you know, get in the final hit very good. So that was really fast. We'll see what strat Krissy goes for here, if he will go into Woodman. Okay, he tried for the early hits, but
it takes practice. Like I've seen players spend quite a bit of time just on that fight, even though it's a fast fight. But it's not a high risk or anything of dying if you miss it, so it's worth at least trying it.
It is. And it's not a huge time loss even if you fail it. So, okay, Tremane is going on to the air section here. We'll see if he go for. Okay, he had a little miss menu problem, but he got the drop he needed. So what are you looking for in the Airman stage when you're using the wood shield weapon early as Tremane is here? You want to have a small weapon drop because you need two wood shots to have an optimal Airman fight. And Tremane has got that drop, so he's gonna be fine in the wood fights.
Yeah, he also got a health drop in case things got dicey, which not necessary, but it's just that extra security blanket.
Yeah. It's very uncommon to die because of health in Airman, but you never know.
The fight is pretty simple, so you shoot one leaf while holding forward and it will hit him twice. Because it's worth mentioning that the shield in Game Boy actually hits... Oh no, did Krissy die?
He did die. Krissy took a death in the head section. I didn't see exactly what happened, unfortunately, but... Oh, we did it again.
Oh, so that's gonna be a major setback. Fortunately for Krissy, it is like directly where the spawn point is, but now he has 0 lives, and any other death would be much more costly.
So he's opting to do a woodman strat there, even though he's low in wood. But okay, so that health drop was actually good. I hope he switches to metal blades or something here, but we'll see what happens.
Meanwhile, Tremane has started Clashman stage. This is the first stage that we introduced, Rush Jet. Rush Jet has free movement, much like Mega Man 3 on the NES, so you can move up and down in all directions. It has a bit of a finicky spot where you could just walk off of it instead of riding it, so players are... I would imagine these players are conscious about that feature already by now, but... it's always possible to just walk off of it. It happens.
It is. So Tremane doing a good job taking the left side strat, which is a fairly new route change. So even though we haven't seen Tremane play much lately, he's obviously been keeping up with the new strats that's been used lately.
Yeah, that was my not my concern, but my questions about Tremane is, was he just going to go with what he knew or adopt new things? And we're getting our answer now. He is adopting the new strats and keeping up, so
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the strats he opts for in the later stages, where there has been some changes since his real active period.
Speaking of changes, do you want to talk about the changes with the Clashman fight?
Yeah, we'll see what Tremane goes for here. He goes fast setup in the Clash fight. That was a really good fight. That was he took a hit he did not want to take at end there, but basically if you set your air shots up correctly, you have an ability to do basically 4 hits in every cycle Clashman jumps. So he pulled that off really good. That was about as good as you can ask for in a race setting, I would say.
And it's almost a full Clashman stage lead, which is not the shortest stage of the run. So this is already a considerable lead. It would take some kind of mistake on his part for Krissy to come back, even at this point.
Yeah, it would take a major mistake. I would say, considering Krissy had 2 deaths there, or was it even 3? I'm not sure. So I mean, Tremane would have to do something major, like a wily soft lock almost, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, or at least a trade-off in deaths as well. That might be more costly.
And we also need to take into consideration that Tremane has a better PB, so he's likely to have better movement throughout the stages, which is more likely to extend the lead than actually, Krissy making up. But anything can happen, so let's see. Okay, Tremane is going into Magnet stage now. His what you want to think about in Magnet is do not take too much unintentional damage. I'm pretty sure that Tremane is using a strat on the boss fight where he only takes damage from the projectiles, so he only needs 2 health basically. But he's been doing a good job.
Yeah, he also got a refill for his metal blades, which, well, it's not necessary. You still have to watch your ammo for here on out, because like most Mega Man games, you don't get refills after the wily stages or the secondary stages.
Yeah, exactly. This one is a bit different. There are no wily stages. I mean, it's basically Robot Master stages, but they do count as wily stages since you don't get any refills, so it's kind of interesting. He's playing it really safe here, not taking any damage boosts, so he has plenty of health, so he can take 3 hits, from Magnet Man, and he's only gonna take one, I would say. So let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay, so he missed a Metal Blade shot, but he still got a very good kill, so...
It looks like a very clean fight. I don't know if it's the fastest one, but it looks really clean.
It wasn't the fastest one. Magnet Man actually got into the corner and you can kill him before he actually enters the right corner, but it was still a very good fight. There was only like a second difference.
Krissy's just Magnet right now.
Yeah. So... Okay, so Tremane is entering Hardman stage. Let's see if he has a... with the using Magnet Man instead of Rush Coil. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, some players choose to try the magnet-only route that I believe you've discovered or optimized once you knew about it.
I did, but Tremane is up into the old Rush Coil strat. So, I mean, which is probably not a bad decision if he hasn't practiced the magnet version. It is slower overall, but... I mean, he's basically using Rush Coil to gain extra height when getting onto the ladders, which looks really fast and clean, but it actually takes quite a bit of time for Rush Coil to actually spawn. And he's also, you have to wait a little bit since you're taking a damage boost at each section, so it's actually in most cases faster just to grab the ladder with a regular jump. So.
Yeah, it's got a clean stage, though, very much like the old route. It's what, maybe 1 second, maybe 1.5?
Yeah, it's, let's say roughly 1 second difference. Still a very clean stage, and he's getting... Ooh, okay.
I was going to say, that went the wrong way.
Yeah, we're never going to say that Hardman is an easy fight, because then someone is going to die. But he pulled through, so... You can actually kill Hardman in the corner, before he actually moves from the ground, but he mistimed one of his Magnet Man shots. So, but there was no
survive Magnet. The only problem is he was in the corner, so Mega Man had to do the slow walk towards the middle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time to break the game.
Yes, this is what we've been waiting for. So Tremane is going into the stage, and this is where the fun begins. Because he acquired the the hard knuckle, and he's gonna use that, try and use it to set up some really nice game-breaking glitches here. Let's see if he gets this one. It's frame perfect. He did. Awesome.
Yeah, on point.
So that's a free-falling zip. So basically you... oh wow, he missed the second one. Interesting. Okay, he's doing the Tremane zip. Okay, so the thing here... you shoot your hard knuckle at the same frame you're exiting the screen, basically in the free fall. And when you do, the game, Mega Man kind of stops midair, so it messes up the screen transition. So the game puts you in another screen that you then it looks like you are in. So you basically skip a screen, or your position gets reset in the next screen. So it's kind of hard to explain, but you skip rooms basically. That's what you do.
Exactly, and I believe it's 3 frames if you're holding onto a ladder, so you got a bit more. Like, basically, you can set up just before the transition while holding onto the ladder.
The good thing about the ladder setups is that they automatically puts you in the correct position, so you just have to basically press A and B at the same time, which makes it really easy. And Tremane also got ammo refill for the hard knuckle. But then, I think did he miss a shot in the fight or something? It looks like he has less than he should have, I'm not sure.
He used to miss that zip, but he did get a small drop, so I think he's okay.
Okay, he should be okay. Okay, let's see what he does here. There's some new strategy in Needleman as well, since Tremane was, major active in this game last time. There's an up zip. A vertical zip, upwards in this section. So let's see if... Okay, he's not going for it. He's switched to Metal Blades.
Yeah, this stage is probably the hardest one to optimize. There's a new zip that makes it a little bit easier, but this top section with the cannons, it separates the good players.
He's been taking a lot of damage here. I think he wants to go for the second E-tank here. I know I would at this time. Tremane is... Optimally, he's probably going to be using one E-tank throughout, but... Oh wow, okay, he He skips the second E-Tank.
Go big or go home.
I guess. So he doesn't do the so-called Elpis sip either, which is surprising considering you get a free refill. Oh, he has 2 E-Tanks. Where did he get the second one?
He picked up the one in top.
In top, man. Yeah, he did a Tremane sip, sorry.
And so did Krissy right now.
Oh, okay.
Some players have opted for that because they find it's more safe than the needle and they don't have to worry about a different zip. I think players have opted different routes throughout the tournament on what they're comfortable.
Yeah, it's almost always better to go to than even if it's slightly slower. It's for consistency in a race. It's always good to go what you're used to. So that's a good decision.
Tremane almost died to needle. Worth noting, needle packs a punch. I think he can do 8 damage with one of his weapons attack.
Yeah, it's extremely. That's the most dangerous fight in the game. I'm happy he got through. And he had used an E-Tank, which kind of shows how dangerous that fight actually is. Okay, we're going into Quint, which is lore-wise Mega Man from the future. Yeah, don't ask me too much about it, because the story of this game is not the reason you play this game.
Going for the old setup. Yeah,
so Quint is down. No matter what setup you use, you kill him really fast, and he's kind of the... Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly a Mega Man killer. As the Game Boy Mega Mans usually have something called Mega Man killers, which are designed, to battle Mega Man. Quint is not exactly one of those, because his lore is a bit different, but he kind of fills the same purpose to be the last Robot Master you fight before the final stage. But he's a real letdown. Really. And he also has a crap weapon, the Sakugarn, like a pogo stick. This is not DuckTales, Capcom. This is not DuckTales.
We're already in the Wily stage with the melting clocks design. Let's see what sips he gets.
Oh, yes. I'm not sure why he... why... If he would have gotten that first sip, he wouldn't have gotten the refill, so I'm not sure why he opted for the first sip, actually. He was low on... but he gets the follow-up sips really well, so that's good. I would say he was lucky not to get the first sip in that scenario.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't paying attention to his ammo too. Like you said, I think he used one extra earlier that maybe he didn't see either.
And since he doesn't do the Elpis sip setup in needle, he don't get the refill there either. So, oh well, he's through. So the last section of Wily is a long vertical climb.
I'm just gonna switch the audio to Tremane there. I apologize.
Oh, we had Krissy's audio. Okay. Oh well. So he's opting to not taking any additional damage on the Crusher section. You can actually do that taking, well, depending on how fast you do it, 1 damage and 2 damage. But they do a lot of damage, so I think he's doing a good thing. Okay, so we're entering the Wily fight. We're entering at 1806, and this should be a low 19. I would say with a good fight like 1903 maybe.
Definitely a good race time.
Definitely. Tremane is one of 3 players that actually has a PB of 18 seconds in this game.
Elpis being the other one and you.
Yeah, the other 2 being myself and Elpis, yes. Okay, so let's go.
Pogo.
Yeah. It's opting to do the good old Wily strats. Let's see. Oh, wow, I thought he was gonna die actually, but he menued in time. So the last phase of Wily. Wily is kind of a letdown in this game, I would say. In general, I know many people like the Wily Scylla dinosaur thing here, but I think it's just silly.
So if you space your buster shots enough here, you'll actually get 2 shots per jump. He seems to be getting most of them. And GG.
GG Tremane on 1910. I don't know what the...
Official SRL is 1917, so either his timer is behind or he's late on the split, but either way, 1917 is a race PB for him.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. SRL usually adds, and he probably was late with the dot down, so it added up. it added some time. Okay, we're switching back to Krissy's audio. And Krissy unfortunately ran out of... This is the problem we were talking about earlier. When you don't have enough hard knuckles, you can't use the hard knuckle to do the zips, apparently. Obviously.
Yeah, and he had 2, which normally, when you see 2 bars, it should be enough to cast one. There's something called, what is it, half bars or half energy?
I call it sub bars, and it can be applied to both ammo and health. It's another one of those weird exclusive mechanics to Mega Man 2 Game Boy. Depending on a combination of where you have used ammo and where you have taken refills, this game works so you can actually, let's say you get a big refill, you can actually pause and menu and switch weapons and divide the refill to fill different weapon slots. So that, I mean, when you pause, the refill actually passes too, so you can switch weapon and you can, refill 2 different weapons. So let's assume that Krissy got a small refill, but he menued to hard knuckle too late, so the game didn't give him the full refill on the actual hard knuckle weapon. So that's probably what happened.
Costly in this situation.
It was a very costly. Over 30, well, since he did extra screen transitions because he didn't realize it, it was probably around 35-40 seconds.
Alright, so we'll see how Krissy does in the wild stage. Pretty low on HP right now. I'm sure there's E-tanks in the bank.
I hope he does, because that is a death.
No deaths, which I know you love. I only have 1 E-tank, so I in this situation, probably make sure the race maybe it was okay.
Yeah, I think this might be it's pretty hard face of Wily damageless. Free health is required to do it optimally fast, because you kind of need to take a hit from...
That was a really good first phase. Might have been okay.
Yeah, this will be fine. I mean, he has an E-tank. He could basically do this probably without an E-tank, actually, so... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Alright, final stretch for Krissy. The T-Rex. The Wily Rex.
I think Wily shrunk or something, in the cutscene. He's he has regular sized sprites, but I have no idea how they fit him in that T-Rex thing. He must be cramped together like... I don't get it.
Also never imagine Wily in a pink T-Rex.
Well, Krissy does like pink, so...
And that's GG for Krissy. Official SRL time of 22:44, so over a 3-minute gap with their game 1.
Yeah, I can't imagine Krissy being happy about his run there. I mean, he had quite a few deaths, so let's see if he can bounce back for game 2 here, because we do want free games. We always do.
Absolutely, especially this late in the tournament where only the good players who stood out are pretty much remaining, so they are theoretically closer and closer.
So 1911, well, official 19, but that was a 1910 going by Tremane's timer. That was interesting to see. We haven't seen very much of Tremane in this tournament. He has only played, is it 1 or 2 games? He had 1 bye, I think, and
yeah.
So I mean, and he was seeded past the first round because he has such a high seed. So I think this is only his 2nd game.
I believe he only played Resisting Frame, I believe, but either way, yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's been a while since either player has been playing, and when they were supposed to play initially, they had to report the game to later, so it took even longer.
It did. They had to postpone the game because of stuff, so... But yeah, we're finally underway now, so that's good.
It looks like the players are taking a few seconds before the race, so if you guys want to grab a drink or anything, now's a good time.
Yeah, let's see if Krissy can fix his timer maybe for the next race. That would be awesome if we can tell him maybe.
My understanding is Krissy won't be using the timer.
Okay.
As per Speed Gaming staff, that Krissy won't have a timer on screen for this race, so we'll be sure to keep tabs on Krissy's time through SRL.
Alright. I think the stream's froze for me, I have to refresh. Sorry, wait. Okay, I'm back.
It froze for me too. Karma.
Okay, let's see here. We haven't missed anything. Keeps freezing for me. Not sure if there's a... Maybe I shouldn't be switching windows. It's probably on my end. Okay, let's see. So we should switch to Tremane's audio, I guess. Oh, can you hear me, or am I?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Sorry.
I think we can only adjust the audio once the race starts. Well, no, we're okay now.
I'm having some technical... Every time I switch windows, it actually freezes. Well, it's fine.
Here, we're on Tremane audio for this race. So what would you like to see Krissy do differently in this race?
Well, since Krissy is at a PB disadvantage, I mean, basically... But he can't. He must still do things he's comfortable with. You know, you can't go out of your comfort zone in a race. So, what? I mean, I think he did. Aside from the deaths, I think he did a good job overall in the game. So he just needs to get his act together and not die in any unnecessary fashion. And I think he can bounce back and have a good second race. And of course, as in the first race, he basically needs Tremane to make some kind of mistake, realistically.
Yeah, and the big decision to go top route anyway after taking 2 dog hits on wood was one that started a good setback already. And then there was maybe even if Airman is taken slower, just make sure you get through that section of the tikis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, in the I don't know how accustomed he is to the top route, but he probably felt that he needed to go for it. You know, since he's up against Tremane, and you know, taking the second hit from the dog boost, yeah, that was unfortunately not the right call to make. But we'll see what happens this race. It's a new race, new opportunities.
Yeah, and I know for yourself, you tend to watch what the other player is doing at times. I don't know if Krissy does that as well, but it seems to be a runner's preference. Some just choose to play their game and not see what the other player is doing. But I imagine if you see Tremane already pulling away, maybe tried to go for a fast strat that was riskier.
Yeah, I don't know if Krissy changed his layout or something happened there, because now Krissy's screen is split in half. He switched it to the right.
Yeah. According to SR, it looks like they're going to try to put a timer on here, so that might look a little funny on screen for a few minutes.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting either way. Let's see. I had something in mind and then switched, so I forgot what my thoughts were, but
yeah,
it will come back.
So what have you been up to, Indy? I know you're technically already in the winners bracket finals, like you played your matches really quickly at the top, so you're waiting on this one and the next match. So have you been playing this game at all on the side?
Since I've been very busy at work, I haven't started any new projects, so this is basically the only game I have been, except for a little Mega Man 2 NES tournament, the bronze game there. But I haven't been playing at all lately, so I've been having, you know, family stuff, work stuff, but I'm going back to this game, maybe even tonight, so...
Hopefully this match kind of gives you that drive of wanting to do better.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if Tremane can pull off a really to improve my record even further.
And we did mention that the winner of this match today is going against Elpis in the your future opponent this weekly, and I think nobody would have said that you versus Tremane was like I think everybody almost thought it was guaranteed at the beginning, but with how Elpis has been progressing, I can't even say who would win or lose that match.
No. I agree. Before the tournament started, the ended Tremane matchup felt inevitable, but as I said after my previous race, actually in the interview, I'm gonna stick my head. I mean, you know, it's impossible to say, but I'm gonna stick my head out, and I think Elpis has the upper hand since he has been active so much lately, and he's probably played more of Tremane, more than Tremane, and their PB is actually only a 5-second difference now, or maybe 6 seconds difference.
Sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, no matter who wins, for sure. Every game from here on out in the tournament is gonna be interesting.
All right, we're starting.
Yeah, it looks like we're starting, but I don't know what's happening here. Tremane doing some practice on how to start as fast as possible, it seems. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Metal Man, no surprise to anybody.
No, we'll see here. Oh, Tremane, well, there's actually a slight variation here. Tremane is opting for taking a damage boost through the first little spring. Krissy is opting to jump over it to conserve some health for the mole section. It shouldn't make a big difference in a race setting, because they're probably gonna skip 2 crusher boosts anyway.
It's worth noting that first D-boost was the known strat until you started picking up the game and optimizing it. So basically, in case we didn't mention it, in this game, if you slide through an enemy or an object when you're really close to it, you'll D-boost right through it without actually taking the knockback. So that's why...
Yeah. The knockback is kind of... exactly. The later you do it, the knockback, I mean, you take the hit as early as possible at the slide, so the slide kind of eats up the knockback, so to speak. The knockback is a certain amount of frames, and that amount of frames is deducted from the actual animation of the slide, so you only get, a small portion of it. It's interesting. So both of the players getting through the mole section, an upcoming section with good health, so Tremane is probably going to take a boost through the last section he is. Krissy should be able to do it too. Both very good on health.
Yeah, for sure. So what players will do here is use a series of jumps and slides to trick Metal Man to jumping outside of his box and get stuck in the wall, basically, and from there, as long as you don't get too close to him, it's just stuck there.
Yeah, both of them pulling it off good. Krissy had some issue with the setup, but the most important thing is to get Metal Man stuck in the wall properly. Both of them doing the body hit, which takes 4 damage, but they both had plenty of health, so we have there's like I don't know, 6-7 second difference maybe. But
yeah, about a full health bar fight. Like after you, like when he was dead, Krissy started doing damage, so it's like 10 seconds at the most.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still within striking distance for Krissy. Yeah, it's 10 seconds roughly, I guess. So the mechanic here, we talked about how power the metal blades are earlier, but there's actually some iframes shenanigans in this game as well. If you fire the metal blades too fast, you can actually... both of them doesn't do damage, for instance. Like, it takes three metal blades to kill one of the rabbits, but if you fire them too fast in succession, you need 4, because one of them will miss.
Okay. Did not know that. We learn every day. And good top section by Tremane there.
Yeah. Krissy this time got through the dog, so he has good health, so he should be able to do the top section without issues as well. He is. Nice. So no deaths this time. It's a more exciting race.
Still have an important lead for this early in the stage, but the fact of not dying definitely helps here.
Definitely. So as long as he can keep up, you know, not dying, well, Tremane still has to make some mistake, but you know, it's still very much more exciting than the last race for sure.
Right. So Woodman's already dead. We always forget to talk because it's so fast. Because you just want to shoot some metal blades and try to hit them between the leaves around Woodman. So one cool thing about the wood shield and the wood weapon in this game is every leaf is a different entity instead of the shield being a big entity. So you can actually shoot in between, and you can also hit an enemy multiple times with each leaf. So it's an interesting weapon.
It is interesting, the mechanic, the wood shield mechanic in this game. Okay. Tremane boosting through the head section.
Yeah, so if you do 5 neutral slides at the start of Airman, you'll get right in position to get a favorable pattern. It's like this simple setup.
So let's see, Tremane is opting to switch to... he didn't get the ammo drop this time he wants. So let's see if he can get it from one of the guys in the open air section here.
Let's hope Krissy keeps up, because we're just a couple screens behind this time.
Yeah. It's at the same section again. Oh wow, no!
Can we consider that a curse?
Well, that was actually the same place he died 2 times to in the last game, and I think he probably got into his head, I would say, that time. Oh wow. Oh. That was unfortunate. Krissy taking a second death, taking some time to tell us his thoughts about Airman stage in the chat, which is understandable. Okay, 3rd time's the charm, right? Okay, he's getting through.
At the drop as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, but I did think he wasted some ammo earlier, so he's not gonna have enough anyway. Okay. Well, meanwhile, Tremane getting through the fight without any issues. It's the fastest and easiest boss fight in the game, as long as you have two Woodman ammo.
Already into Clashman, so this is the stage, along with Wily, I would say, with the most vertical climbing. Basically, you're going to use Rush Jet a lot to skip all the climbing of ladders animation. It's actually a pretty fun stage once you get the hang of it to do all the fast climbing.
Yeah, the problem with the stage is obviously that the Rush Jet mechanics, I think we talked in the previous race, but yeah, if you don't let Rush spawn completely onto the screen before you get onto him, you can actually slide off him. Basically, he has to glide off, and it's almost impossible to react to, and you usually slide off into a pit if it happens. Which is why we have the bad dog meme for Rush in this game. But Tremane is doing a good job here.
Yeah, we haven't seen as the tournament progresses that. I was gonna say we haven't seen it, but we've seen it.
You saw him sliding. Basically, he was, you know, moonwalking, but gliding off Rush there, and that was because he got on him before he spawned completely. So he was. Thank you for demonstrating our point, Tremane. That was kind of you. Okay, let's see how he handles the Clashman fights once again. So we got 4 hits, 5. Okay, really good. Oh wow, perfect.
Right in the middle too.
Yeah, that was what he wanted to do last game, but he took an accidental hit from the final Clash Bomb, so it delayed the kill a bit. But that was basically as good kill as you can get without the very newest strat, which includes doing double hits with 1 air shooter. But that was, I mean, I would take that. I would take that fight in a race anytime, basically.
Yeah, I was going to mention, for a race setting, this is incredibly consistent play by Tremane. It would be, I think he's doing everything he can at the best.
Yeah.
Krissy also sliding through Russia. It looks like that particular spot almost forces you for that to happen. Yeah, we didn't talk about how Wily's eyebrows not wiggling in this game.
Another technical flaw apparently, but you did big dash. Oh, I still don't understand how it fits into that mech thing. Okay, anyway, we're on to Magnet stage. Arguably, it's pretty easy, but if you mess up something bad, it can turn bad pretty fast. But Tremane doing a good job here. You can actually do that section non-stop, but okay, he's taking some unintentional hits there, but
I think with the setup with less damage should be okay.
He should be fine. He's also not taking damage from the last enemy in the screen before the boss, and he also got a small drop here. And Rush is a bad dog once again.
Yeah, that's a third slip already between the two players off of Rush.
Oh wait, did Krissy die in Clash Man, by the way? He must have died in the fight. He has he's using
get better at looking at two screens at the same time. But yeah, this is why you want to make sure you do this fight properly, because if not, you gotta take... Like, it's possible to do it faster with Buster than this, but it's pretty dangerous. And you really have to understand how to manipulate Clash and where he's going to shoot.
Yeah, as he says himself, he feels kind of forfeited. And Tremane getting the perfect Magnet Man fight. It's really good. That's what we talked about the last game, where he didn't get it, until he reached the corner. But this time he got him before he reached the corner. The timing is pretty strict. You have to basically shoot every metal blade, without missing any of them, perfectly timed to get that kill. So that was a really good kill by Tremane.
Absolutely. Already taking a significant lead here going into Hardman stage. I think we're going to see the same strats here. Just the consistency of his play seems to be what we're going to see again. I don't know if he's going to develop new strats from here to the end, but some of them he uses are old, but I think you got to go with comfort at some point.
Yeah, he's using coil. I mean, yeah, it's what he's used to. He obviously has, and I mean, well, he might also have practiced a new strat, and maybe he didn't feel like it. Not everyone feel comfortable with all strats, so I mean, he might be opting to use rush coil. I guess we can ask him afterwards in an interview
if he wants to jump on, for sure.
Yeah, we don't know that yet for sure, of course.
Hardman, so we'll see if we can get a faster Hardman. You can theoretically kill him before he jumps away. You just gotta really watch where you shoot, because of his hands can knock away the magnet shots.
Okay, wow, okay. Oh, he got it. Ooh,
it looks like a good setup, but he missed 2 shots in there.
Yeah, and that might also be a reason he's not going for the magnet strats, because if you use the magnet strats properly, you use Magnet Man's weapon to kill one of the monkeys, and if you use 4 magnets for that, and if you do that, you can't afford to miss a single shot in the actual fight. And as you could see, he missed a couple of shots there, so he would have had to switch weapons if that would happen in that scenario.
Meanwhile, Krissy is starting the Magnet Man fight, and Tremane is into top, where we'll see some more zip attempts. The first time he did get them, he did opt to go for what they call the Tremane zip, where he goes for the top anti-tank.
Oh, he did the frame perfect zip again. As we said earlier, the free-falling hard-knuckle zips, they are frame-perfect, so he pulled that off for the second race now, which is really good, opting to do the so-called Tremane zip to get the second E-tank.
He also gets the small Hardman drop. I know he doesn't go for needle, the Alpis zip, so the fact that he got that small drop is kind of like the old way, where you're like, thank God I got the small drop. He gets 2 of them, actually.
That's... yeah, he's in good shape. So let's see. I know he can do the up-zip in Needleman, so I wouldn't be surprised if we will see an up-zip attempt at least from him now. I've seen him do it in practice earlier, so... That's a really good top fight.
Yeah. Some players back up before the third shot. He chooses to stand back from the beginning and just shoot at the right times.
Yeah, everyone's setup is a little bit different in that fight, but as long as you get 5 cycle it, preferably before taking any hits, it's fine. Okay, Needleman, worst stage in the game, along with Middleman. Hardest.
Even the music?
The music is really good, it's fine. It's just a hard stage. Oh, he's doing hard knuckle and he you there, you see. And okay, he had to screen transition twice, which actually kind of neglects the time save, depending on if you do the Elpis zip this time or not. The time save you get from that zip he just did is you don't climb the entire ladder in the next screen, which is basically what the time save is. But since he did 2 screen transitions back and forth, kind of neglected it. Okay, let's see what he does here. Oh, he does go for hard, man. Let's see here. Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, Tremane. No offense.
Oh my god.
He has probably not practiced that. That can happen. You saw him earlier.
I think he was surprised.
Yeah, you know, you see earlier what we call the Tremane zip in top man section, when he basically you can run time. In the top man stage, he does it intentional to get to the E-tank fast, but he did it. I mean, he was not meaning to do it in this game, and the thing is, if you do the second zip that he failed now from the correct position, you will not have that happening. But yeah, he was probably not accustomed to the strat, but he had so much hard knuckle and he's so far ahead, so he was probably just winging it. And that's what we talked about earlier. You usually don't do things you're not accustomed to, and but since he's so far ahead, you know, he could do that without any risk. But still.
Yeah, and he will be entering the Needleman fight quite low on HP here. We'll see if he opts to use an E-tank. I'm assuming he will.
He did use an E-tank. And I also know Tremane loves the way top man weapon handles it. It's a horrible mechanic to use top man weapon, but he pulled through fine. Meanwhile, Krissy entering top man fight. Let's see if he gets the 1 cycle.
That's a pretty easy fight, but it's also easy to make a mistake.
Yeah, so he got through fine. So
once you lead that.
Oh, Tremane missing a clash bomb at Quint, but it's not a big deal. He's still gonna get the 1 cycle, so yeah, solid Quint fight still.
Yeah, earlier he didn't shoot one while falling down. This time he did. We're almost already done the race.
I mean, he's going for a lot of stuff now. So, I mean, I think he's watching. He's most likely watching. Because we were talking about earlier if they were stream sniping or not, and it's apparent that Tremane is, considering the strats he go for. Even just small things like shooting the clash bomb, falling is, you know, it can make a few difference if you fail it. But he's basically going for everything now that he's so far ahead.
Right.
He should have enough for 2 hard knuckles, but okay, I'm not sure if he failed it or if he just opted to go for the refill straight away.
There's a backup one you can do, but like you said earlier, I think doing the backup would mean no refill.
So he didn't get the last frame perfect this time, so... But still, there's a fairly fast backup. So
that was pretty much the, hey, I missed all the big zips, I'm gonna do the mandatory ones.
Yeah, but he did get the first top zip, so... Oh well. Okay.
I'm gonna climb a little low on rush jet ammo here, so I'll probably have to do some of it without it.
I think he will opt to do rush jet, and he will probably be jumping more and conserving rush jet in Wily, I would say. That's what I would do. But you can finish the Wily fight with very, very little rush jet if you just keep... that's another mechanic we haven't talked about, actually. If you... Kind of like Mega Man 3 for NES, if you... when you're in the air, you don't... the rush jet energy doesn't deplete. So, if you just keep pressing the A button to jump when you're on rush jet, and we'll see if he does that here. Yep, he is. You see he's jumping for every shot, and... Wow, this is a bit scary, actually. Okay,
it's definitely a harder strat because you're reducing the window that you have to shoot Wily's capsule area.
It is, and it's also... It's actually... he properly either, so he actually missed a few shots, so... Usually when you don't have to focus on jumping, you can actually, you know, maneuver rush vertically however you want, but this time he couldn't do it, so... Alright, final section. The home stretch. See if you can get some double shots in. There we have it, 2011.
Yep, 2016 officially in SRL. GG to Tremane.
GG. Alright, let's switch audio to Krissy. For the final wireless section.
So, in the end, Krissy, I think, played a dangerous airman. That was the unfortunate... The part that really separated them, a big deal of it. But Tremane was ready to play 2 consistent runs. 2013 is a little high for his standards, but good enough for the win today.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time having to do Needleman, well, most of the Needleman stage twice. I think we would have seen another, I would estimate another pretty low 19. It wouldn't, but...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but that was still too solid. Solid performance, but I think that... Well, we'll talk about it if he wants to interview. I mean, ask him about it, but I think that to have, you know, to be safe against Elpis, he probably needs to step up his game a bit. Keep in mind that Elpis actually did his PB, his 1853 or 1851, in the last race actually. So his consistency is just skyrocketing. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Okay, Krissy going into the Wily fight.
Let's see what Krissy does. So I don't know what the first phase is called. The Raptor phase. I don't know.
I have no idea what it is.
Like dinosaurs, like a T-Rex and I don't know, a Ball-Rex.
It's like a... yeah, what this is, I don't know, a Triceratops? No, no, I haven't met a Triceratops who shoots energy balls.
The Boxosaurus.
Yeah, or a T-Rex that fires missiles for that matter. I don't know, I don't like the... I like this game, but I'm not very fond of either the Quint or the Wily fights. Compared to the other Game Boy Mega Man games, which has, you know, the huge sprites, very detailed Wilys with cool attacks and everything. And here you have I don't even know what he shoots. What is the things he's throwing at you? And it just gets me mad. Either way, Krissy is finishing up the game. GG to Krissy.
Maybe baby pterodactyls.
Maybe. This is a test of our knowledge of prehistoric dinosaur knowledge. I don't know if we passed or not. I'll let the chat be judge to that. One cool thing though is that Mega Man actually copies Wily's ability, use it against him to make him crash in a nuclear explosion, which is kind of interesting, I guess.
So we're going to talk to the runners. Looks like Tremane can't join us, unfortunately. But we're going to try to get Krissy at least to join us.
Alright. Let's see if we can get Krissy to join, that would be awesome. And also later to Tremane. I hope you have a good evening, Tremane, and well played. Let's see what's happening. Oh, Krissy is... seems like Krissy is getting in here. Can I drag him in, or how does this work? Or can you do it? I think I can pull him in here. I will get Krissy. Yo, Krissy.
Oh, hello.
How are you doing?
I feel like crap, yes?
Yeah, I mean, this might be a stupid question. Well, you know, you guide us through what went through your mind there, especially in the airman. Say, well, we can take it from the start here. You had your reasoning behind going for the top route in Woodman first game. What happened?
Basically, what happened was that.
Oh, ouch! Oh, wait, that was very. Sorry.
Oh, might be my microphone though.
Okay.
Anyways, it was like I had enough health to go through it, and then I did some mistakes. I took extra damage, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And then the mat like killed me, so I had like 1 health after the last mat on that screen. So it was like, it was just pure unluckiness. If I would have shot earlier, I would have actually gotten through the needles there. It was so bad.
Oh yeah, Now that I think about it, you hit the final hit from the meth there. That was very unfortunate. So that I assume that kind of threw you off mentally for the rest of the game. I mean, I know I would be frustrated having an early death like that. So then Airman gave you troubles in both games actually. What happened there in the first bottom screen on the Airman?
Like it was, I was like so sure and like hoping to get like a drop for the jumping strats, and well, it just like backfired and just threw me off. It was like the physics that took me, so it was my own fault. But it was like that like put me up. At least the second round, I was like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. I assume that after the first game mistake there, I assume you must have thought about it going into the second game there. That's the same screen when the same thing happened again.
Yeah, but there was like so many things that went wrong though. It was not my day today, you know.
Yeah. I was thinking about asking Tremane, but unfortunately he isn't here. But in the same for you. I mean, how did you? Since Tremane has a better PB than you, obviously you knew you had to play your A game, so did that affect the strats you were going for, or did you just play your game like you usually do?
Like I tried to do Metal Man as safe as I could while still saving time, you know, instead of going all the damages in the first I don't know what those enemies are called, but those that fall down from the roof, you know.
The moles?
And yeah, around the moles, you know, in that area.
You had pretty fortunate paddles though, so I think you both did a good job in Metal Man. So
yeah, Airman was the mean guy of this race, at least for me.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, since Yeah, that's kind of what was separated. I mean, there was a small difference in the second game before that, but that was like the decider, I feel. So, and it's really hard to bounce back mentally after something like that happening. So I do, I do apologize, feel sorry for you. But you are in the loser bracket now, right?
I presume so.
Yeah, you are going to face Charlie Boy.
Hey.
Charlie Boy. That's an opponent I had earlier in the tournament, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the loser of 27, which was this match, was facing him. But do you know anything about Charlie Boy, Krissy? I mean, on paper, it looks like you would be the favorite, but players have played so much now and improved so much since the beginning that the numbers almost don't matter anymore.
Well, I haven't watched anyone play Mega Man 2 for Game Boy besides Andy, so it's like, I do not know.
Oh, okay, there's been a huge activity in this.
Well, I haven't. I know people have been playing it, but I haven't watched anyone else. I don't know their skill level, but we have a lot of awesome players in the game now. Yeah, it's fun to look at.
Yeah. So I can tell you that Charlie Boy has a current PB of 21:36. So you have a better PB, so it should be an interesting game either way.
Well, if Airman decides to do the same thing again, he will win for sure, man.
But you have to make sure that doesn't happen.
I will, man. I have to take bronze back to Norway,
Norway or the highway?
Yes.
I have a bold question for you, Krissy. So, Tremane or Elpis, who's going to take it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I want to favor Elpis on this one.
Oh, Krissy also going for Elpis. This will be interesting. This will put fuel on Tremane's fire for sure. So we'll see. So, do you have any add, Krissy, regarding the games that we saw today? Or
I just wanted to say though that I was going for some strats that I haven't done that much before, like my metal, not my metal, but my magnet fight. I tried to do the side shots because usually I just slide under and shoot up, or sideways. Not sideways, but like straight.
Okay.
But that second round, that looked like a disaster. Oh yeah, what? Talking about the disaster, man. Clash Man in second round.
Oh yeah, we actually missed that one.
These commentators, man, wow.
Yeah, well, I assume you died.
That you started the Buster fight while we were commentating something else, so we knew that disaster did occur. We'll have to watch it just to make sure we see the disaster, right?
Like, it happened, like, I missed the air shot, and I was going for Buster, like, on the end, but then he jumped into me, and I died, and I was like, okay, should I forfeit, or should I just, like, do it? And I went for Buster all in, and I lost a lot of shots, because I haven't done that strat in so long, because it's, like, just reset and reset and reset and Flashman,
Yeah, that is a common thing in races. If something happened that you're not accustomed to, you don't really always have a backup for it. If you haven't played the game, a lot, you don't have backup plans for every scenario, because in a regular attempt you just reset when something goes horribly wrong. That's kind of it's very important to have backup strats for But I can understand that you didn't have the experience for just that one in particular. So it's unfortunate that it happened. It's just the way that the games work in races.
Yeah, it was really fun though, and I'm looking forward to do more matches in the loser brackets. So it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, looking forward to your next game, and good luck in the further in the tournament. And that goes for Tremane as well. The Tremane Elpis match is gonna be a highlight for sure. It's gonna be really interesting. So, do you have anything to add, Manix?
Well, yeah, I can close everybody out. Really, just GG to Tremane and Krissy again for this match. Keeping it interesting, and GG to you, Indy, for commentating with me. I thought I was coming in alone, so when I came home and you were coming in, it was kind of a surprise.
yeah, it was my first game commentating actually. I have to do it for my boy.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to Speaking and all the staff. You know, a lot of stuff goes on in the back that people don't see to make sure all of this goes according in order and last minute changes, things like that. So they're always on the ball.
They are. Thank you very much, Speed Gaming crew, and for putting the tournament together. It's been awesome to see so many people playing this game, like the most active classic Mega Man game.
And also thanks to everybody watching. Obviously, we do it for you guys first, so you can enjoy it. We do have another match tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. The rescheduling match of Mr. MKL and Metal Flows from the losers bracket. That's also be a really good one.
It should be. I don't know which of the Speed Gaming channels it is going to be on, but stay tuned for that later. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and thank you, Manix and Krissy and everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.